When the museum was forced to close in the March of 2020, I think, like most museum directors, I was looking at the year's programming ahead, sort of with my head in my hands and with a huge amount of uncertainty and knowing that we were going to have to make some decisions quite fast. So I was thinking, what could we do? What could we do that reflected the place that we were in, that was quite light touch, that brought some humour, that wouldn't be too catastrophic if our plans had to change again. And I spoke to one of our trustees, Jeremy Deller, who has a fantastic way of looking at the world and finding that kind of creative ingredient that throws a light on a situation that we all share.
It was fortuitous, really. It seemed to be it's a museum that can maybe act quickly and get an exhibition up quickly, because we were talking about a show with Caro, the director. Can we do a show around what's been going on in Britain in the last 6 months? This was around summer last year. And then it just occurred to me so obviously that John had done this project very early on in lockdown, which deserved to be seen in a physical form, not just online.
The process of this exhibition, is all quite fluid. The actual kind of the online action of kind of deface the letter. I then put up on Instagram and said, look, if you've received a letter, draw on it and just tell us what you think. That letter was just a joke to me, so I just put it in the hands of the kids and see what they thought of it. I was just happy to let the kids have a voice.
You want to set it on fire? Oh, okay.
My name is Taja and I'm 7. So basically there's a picker and then a big moody cloud raining on him. And then there's a NHS heart over there. Yeah.
I'm Macy and I'm 8 years old. I used some glitter and Mum got me some tea bags and I put it in, I can't remember where it was, but I just put it around to make it look like a pirate bat.
So what I've done here is I've made this letter into a picture of birds. The birds inspire me because I live quite high up in a tower block with my mum, and usually I can just hear the cars and the buses and all the other noisy things, but because it was locked down, everything was so quiet, I could only hear the birds and their chirping and all the beautiful songs they would sing.
The story that the Foundling Museum tells is about childhood, and it's about, obviously, the children who grew up at the Foundling Hospital. But it's a story that's told very much from an adult perspective. And in terms of the art that the museum shows, it's art made by adults for adult consumption, and in case of the portraits, of adults, the governors and benefactors. So what's wonderful about the COVID letters is that it actually brings the children and their voices and their opinions and their perspective on society to the fore. I think William Hogarth would have revelled in the tone of their art, that it's scatological, it's incredibly funny, it's politically very charged, it is unapologetic, and it's amazingly diverse. So for us, it's been a real joy, and I think that's part of the decision that we made to also have the work embedded within the collection, not just in the temporary exhibition gallery.
There's a load of different nods to things in the rooms where they are. I mean, here you've got, this is Rise's one. He's kind of holding a scroll, and then next to there you've got a scroll. And then obviously Poppy's one up there with a mask.
The sadness in all of this has been how disrupted the show's opening has been because of COVID, which on the one hand is what we expected, but on the other is still hugely frustrating. We had a week before it opened to the public where we had in-person, socially distanced family activities for all our local families to get involved. It was running up to Halloween on the 30th, so everything was Halloween themed. And so the first day of the exhibition was given over to the families and the children whose art was on display, and that was all fancy dress. So that was great. We then had 3 wonderful days open to the public before we all went into lockdown again. It's been very active on social media, and that's been lovely. But you know, to be able to extend the show, to have it on for that bit longer, to see the galleries full of people laughing and talking again, is a huge relief. Because even though we have the wonderful book, even though there are the wonderful T-shirts that have been raising money for food banks in children's primary schools, it's still incredibly galling that, in a sense, that in-person experience has been as disrupted as it has been.
It's been massively disrupted, as is everything, but it has been open, and it has a life beyond this. There's a book. It has a life there as well. So, and it will become more and more important as time goes by, because it will be seen more and more as a document of a certain time in history.
I was hoping that this would make memories also, not only just hung up somewhere or people to look at, but it would make memories for people to look at, and it would make feelings.
I don't know, yeah, it's opened and closed so many times, but it kind of feels right that it did happen like that. The work was in lockdown for so long, like it was locked within this space and no one could see it, and I'm just happy that all the kids, all the artists got to see their work, which, speaking to the parents, like the confidence boost for them has been like quite amazing. Even when they have to come and then like, firstly they've got their artwork up and that's like a boost, but then like some of them then been on like podcasts or speaking to camera, and all these experiences is like great for them. So yeah, it's the best thing we've done like as a collective, and kind of see where we go from here.
I feel quite special actually, because now, well, I've got my painting hung up in a big museum and being filmed, and I've got my mum, my best friend here.
I feel a bit like proud to make it.
As a museum, we are very lucky, have always been very lucky in the support that we've received from artists and creative practitioners for the work that we do. I like to think that's because of us as a museum, but I think it's actually about this extraordinary relay race of talent, of socially engaged, creative people getting involved, and that has a real pull on artists today, artists like John. But we are hugely grateful to John and to Jeremy and to Dominic for all of their work and commitment, and for helping us pull off really an astonishing exhibition that we're really proud of. And it's wonderful to be able to hear, in all of the upset and trauma that COVID has wrought on people's lives, to hear the museum full of laughter and comment and people again after so long closed.